What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Matt Men, the podcast, your source for all things professional wrestling. No Andrew today. We are stuck in a real Major Tom situation here where he's lost in space again. We tried to keep him grounded, but he just took off. He floated away like a balloon.
Hi.
Oh yeah, that's right. MG's here from Hollow Earth, land of the Kongs. I was just gonna go into it right by myself.
Is he in space, or do we have to post bail later?
He's in space. He's in outer space.
Okay.
He jumped really gently and just floated away, and that was it.
He needed
That's the
break.
last I saw him.
He had enough. He goes, "I have enough of you Earthlings. I'm going back home again."
We went to after the St. John's game. He was like, "Wow, St. John's won." He took a step out of Madison Square Garden, lightly jumped, and just floated away like he was full of helium. So we got to get him back at some point. But no Andrew today, guys. Sorry if you're disappointed. It's going to be me and MG. I think this is our fourth or fifth takeover.
Fourth one. Yeah, I didn't make a big production on the thumbnail about it this time. But yeah, because up until we thought he was going to be around, but things happen. So, yeah, here we are.
Yeah, good morning all around, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Let's just jump into it. We're going to keep it a little bit loose today. Get your questions ready for the end. Help us reach the goal of $1,000 in super chats. That would be fantastic.
Yeah,
and
bail money sucks.
If we hit that number, Mr. Gonzo will take his fucking shirt off live on air.
Oh no! we might need to bump that up a little.
And by the way, spoiler alert, he's covered in late 90s Warner Brothers tattoos, like when the Tasmanian Devil was dressed like a Yankee fan and all that shit.
No, what's my Animaniacs
covered in Animaniacs tattoos. I would love it if you really were.
That was my favorite cartoon
was it?
As a young adult, I loved that for some reason.
Oh, Animaniacs was awesome.
Silly. Yeah,
it was great. A few years ago, there's a museum here in Long Island City called the Museum of the Moving Image, and a few years ago they did a full-blown Warner Brothers retrospective, and it was such a great day where my wife and I and a bunch of our friends just watched Warner Brothers cartoons all day in their theater and just walked around and saw the animations, all the cells and little stories. It was awesome. But that's cool. We got $1.99. No, $4.99.
$4.99
after 3,000. $4.99 back to 3,000. Morning, my ghetto boys. I got 5 on it. Hell yeah!
I think Bachelor is now our longest reigning OG.
I think so.
He's been consistent forever, and it's so cool.
He's the fifth Beatle.
Fifth Beatle, really?
Yeah, he should come on the show once. That'll be fun.
One day.
All right, let's get into it. You ready?
Yeah. Take us where you want to go.
So
I got
we'll start
things
at the top.
I want to say about a couple of these things.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll start at the top with the news. The WWE department is apparently frustrated over WrestleMania promotion changes. This is according to WrestleVotes Radio on Fightful. Promotional materials for this year's show have gone under several graphic revisions. One source said the direction for the event has never been clear and that WWE has continued to change its graphic requests along the way. This is what happens at a large company. The report noted that the original plan was to promote WrestleMania around a high-end, classy vibe, similar to the tone of the early teasers, but the direction has shifted. It seemed like they wanted to go classic Vegas, that promo with everybody sitting around the poker table and all that stuff. But listen, here's the truth of it. WWE's a huge effing company, right? Mm-hmm. A buddy of mine worked there for several years. He was not in a creative role, but he was in a semi-creative role, but handled a lot of graphic undertaking. And he would tell me, listen, this shit gets changed 10 times a day, and at the end of the day, they will always go with the dumbest thing you could think of. So that's that, and I feel yeah, of course it's going to be like that. When's WrestleMania? It's a month away?
Yeah, it's 5 weeks still. I think no, it's a month. I think it's this
WrestleMania 42. Let's see, April 18th. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So right
You're
around
5
a
weeks
month.
away. April 18th, April 19th.
By the way,
I'm sure they'll be fine.
happy Friday the 13th, by the way.
Oh yeah, happy Friday the 13th. Do you go in for the superstition?
No. No.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd lose my mind every time it came up.
This has been like the 5th Friday the 13th in like 10 weeks.
So this story, I think it's a non-story. I think Andrew would have had more insight on this type of stuff too, as far as the marketing end. But
yeah,
because
it'll get
I'm
done.
sure you're right. Yeah, and I don't know how that. I don't even know if that's a story they should have like brought up, but whatever.
I mean, it's not like WrestleMania is going to get canceled, you know? And they also have like a tremendous graphics department. So I'm sure everything will be fine and look cool, you know? WWE NXT Stand and Deliver is to air live on YouTube. We're going to get all the WWE stuff out of the way and then concentrate.
There's not much, guys.
We're going to concentrate mostly on AEW and Revolution and all that stuff. We're going to go through all the matches. It's going to be a fun card. It's going to be a good time. It was announced on Wednesday that NXT Stand and Deliver will stream live on WWE's YouTube channel on April 4th. It's taking place at the Factor in Chesterfield, Missouri, with a start time of 7, with the NXT content slated to leave Peacock within the next week. Interesting.
I have thoughts on this.
Okay, what are your thoughts on this?
So, a couple of things. One is, I think AAA's doing pretty good on WWE's YouTube.
Hey, I've been watching it.
So this to me is they have 1.3 million subscribers to that YouTube channel. They're not taking a big hit here by just throwing it up free. I think they might get some more people, but the problem I have with NXT, and I don't know if you watched any of the pay-per-view, the Vengeance Day PLE they did. There was no mention of being the last one, but clearly it was. And it was not good. Let's just put it that way. I'll be nice. Okay. I think on the radio show with Andrew, he asked me what I thought of it, and I said it was 2.5 hours I'm not getting back. Because it just, there's no star power anymore. The women are the highlight. And there was 3 women's matches, 2 men's. That should tell you something right there. The biggest star they have right now, someone that probably is going to be up, is Tony D'Angelo, which I love.
Yeah, awesome.
He kind of looks like your cousin, by the way.
Fair.
So that's the biggest star. But what has happened, in your opinion, what has happened to NXT? Because that's mine.
I think they're doing WWE. You know what I mean? Whereas like a few years ago, it would be, oh, cool, NXT's on Wednesday. I get to watch Adam Cole and Roderick Strong and all those guys. And it morphed into what WWE wants you to love, you know? So you're going to get like, I think it's perfect for guys like Trick Williams and Javon Evans, you know, like guys like that are coachable, that WWE can turn into major players. That's where I think NXT is at. You know, they're going for more of the homegrown big talent as opposed to let's get the cool indie guys to work with what we want to be homegrown talent, if that makes sense. And plus the indies are good at, you know.
And they're not repopulating enough. But here's my thought. Yeah. Here's something that I thought of just as I was setting up here earlier. NXT used to be the sexy alternative, right? Triple H
WWE's alternative to its own programming.
Yeah, Triple H is running it, not Vince. Vince was in a stale rut there, like you know, in that from like 2012 to let's say 16, the 4-year period there where all the same people are on the main roster, and it was cool and it was big moments, but it was not different. That original NXT was different, and it was. We were talking about this the other day. I mean, there was some hard hitting matches coming out of that time, and it was different. And there were different characters. And remember when it was time to do like drafts and who's getting called up, and everybody was on the edge of their seat. People were making content about it. It was much more of a buzz back then for different reasons.
I think it still has a buzz. No, I agree with you. I think it still has a buzz, but it's a different kind of buzz. Whereas, like, you know, we were stoked to see Sami Zayn versus Shinsuke Nakamura, right?
Yeah.
And Nakamura's debut, stuff like that. But again, like, you're coming from there. We're looking at the landscape of wrestling where few and far between you're going to get guys from other promotions and indie stars come over like they did. You know, WWE's done a good job with Ethan Page and Ricky Starks, you know, on NXT. But I feel like those waters aren't as full as they used to be. You know, a good example is Dave Finlay going to AEW, where I could have sworn my money was him going to NXT and dominating that roster, you know? So it's very interesting. And I feel like NXT is also constantly evolving. Like they're doing WWE on a smaller scale so that when these guys are ready, like a Trick Williams is a perfect example, he can take that stage in a big way, you know? And Obafemi, another great example, you know? They're prepping the guys that they like to be big stars on the main roster. Yeah. It's WWE style, you know?
But I just don't feel like there's since I pulled up Trick Williams and Obafemi, all of a sudden there's this big gap. So I'll be interested to see where that goes. But yeah, enough on that.
Rollins says he isn't fully cleared for any real quote unquote physicality. He says he can't get into any real physicality. He's got to protect the shoulder for another couple of weeks. And then he said, we'll see if we need the masked men and all the tricks and whatnot. All right, good. You know, like protect the guy. I don't think he would. I don't think Seth should be considered injury prone. I just think he's had a lot of unfortunate injuries during big angles. If that makes sense.
For a long. Yeah, he's been around forever. And what did you think of this bait and switch thing they're doing with these masked men? I think it's clever.
I like it. It's fine. I like it. They're doing twin magic again in a different way, and I'm okay with it. You know, it's exactly what it is.
This is like it's like a multiplication problem. Like another masked man.
Yeah. Here's an interesting tangential WrestleMania note. MJF says he would not take less money just to have a WrestleMania moment. During a recent interview with Denise Salcido, shout out to Denise, doing a wonderful job, MJF said some wrestlers are willing to go accept a pay cut in order to get booked by the other place, but he said it's clear that would not be the case for him. Here's an interesting thing about MJF, right? Will we see him in WWE at some point? Yes. When? Who knows? Think about it this way. The guy isn't even 30 years old yet. So who knows where he's going to be in 6 years, 5, 6 years, 10 years, you know?
This feels like he wants to, he wants to do it his way. And if he does end up in WWE, you're right. It's going to be toward the end of his career, or in the middle of it. But for right now, I think he understands what his character is. He's unique in the fact that he got his character at a very young age. Hey, I'm just gonna be a dick and own it. And here we are. Right?
Yeah, listen, 29 years old, not even 30. He's got such a bright future. And I feel like people jumped on the WWE talk as soon as he became, I think, AEW champion, you know? And I feel like it was because like he's so magnetic. Promos, in-ring work, he's got the look, he's got the attitude, right? And folks were like, oh, when's it gonna happen? You know, when Cody came back to the WWE.
Angle that he did, right? It was that angle he did where he said, my contract's up and, you know, F you. And then he started saying hi to doing those backhanded introductions to Triple H and stuff on there, like "Hi, Paul" or whatever he used to do.
Right.
That's where it came from.
And everybody got worked too. Like everybody watching that got friggin' worked,
including us.
Speak for yourself.
I remember.
Buddy.
Well, as a whole, as like our show, as all our group, because
I'll admit to getting worked, you know, like, but I feel like that was just like, he went as far as he could go in that character, in that story, you know, like he pushed
and he went away for a while.
People thought it was real. Yeah.
And then he's a different character. Right. Cause I remember Andrew, texting us, or texting me at least, and going, MJF walked out of, what was it, Double or Nothing weekend in Vegas?
Yeah.
He was there. And he texted us, and I was like, "What?" and then they ended up having the match anyway. So, but
He tried to
how
chase him
times
to the
have
elevator.
changed.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see what else we have here. The current WWE SmackDown lineup for tonight: Cody and Randy signed their WrestleMania 42 contract. Jelly Roll appears on Miz TV. Is Jelly Roll going to wrestle this year's WrestleMania?
Yes, damn it. I don't think he should, but he's probably going to be in something. Maybe he's going to be the host. Maybe he'll just be the host, and that'll be cool.
Maybe he'll sing "America the Beautiful."
Yeah. Of course.
I'm alone here, I think. Not alone, but I feel like I'm in the minority when I say I'm excited for Cody versus Randy at WrestleMania.
Yeah, well, I got more notes on that in a second, but on the Jelly Roll thing, I'm kind of fatigued on Jelly Roll content because he's everywhere. He's on everything. He's on every award show. He's on.
I thought you were a huge Jelly Roll fan.
I don't hate him. I think his music's great. Some of his songs I like, but just not. It's kind of a whatever type thing.
So Dave added something to the Rhodes match saying, barring a late decision change, Cody will defend the title against Randy, and it's a lock that it will be a singles match rather than a 3-way or 4-way. See, I was hoping for that 4-way. I was hoping for the 4-way where somehow Sami Zayn wins.
I know. You, and that would be your ultimate thing is him. I wonder what's going on there. How they're going to get there with it. I didn't have a lot on Mania this week because we covered a lot of it last week, but this was the one
fine.
that caught my eye. So, so there's also note that maybe it's going to be Hell in a Cell. If they do,
I don't want to see that.
I'll be fine with the single match. But yeah, obviously you want to see Sammy win. At some point,
I'd love to see in an ideal situation for me, it would have been Cody, Drew, Randy, and Sammy. Right? Everybody's got history with each other. That would have been awesome.
In a big bucket of lube. Oh no!
I don't want to see a Hell in a Cell with Randy and Cody. I would rather see, if they're gonna do a gimmick, I would rather see like a as weird as it seems, like a bull rope match or like a four corners match.
Okay. All right.
Just like real old school. And, because both those guys.
That would line up with the lineage of Dusty. So, yeah, that would.
Yeah. And Bob Orton, I think that would be a cool thing. Hell in a Cell, I don't know. Unless you really pull out all the stops and let them have like a bloody match, then it doesn't do it for me,
Well, the fact that they're friends, they're kind of both baby faces. It doesn't make sense now that I think about it. So
yeah, yeah. There's no I'll see you in hell kind of vibe, right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow,
yeah. Go into it.
Tomorrow we're getting the Rey de Reyes. It's gonna be interesting. This is, of course, on WWE's YouTube. The Mega Championship on the line. Dominic Mysterio versus El Hijo de Vikingo. If Mysterio loses, he must leave AAA. Listen, that's gonna be a fun match. You're getting Pagano and Psycho Clown versus the War Raiders. That's gonna be a fun match. Penta is gonna present the Rey de Reyes tournament winner with an honorary sword. So you're getting everybody involved. You have the Rey de Reyes tournament final 4-way match, La Parca versus the original Grande Americano versus El Grande Americano versus Santos Escobar. And you have a Reina de Reyes championship, Flamer versus TBA, Turnbuckle Abigail. It's going to be fun, man.
I wonder if TBA, because she's back with Dominic, if it's going to be Liv Morgan.
That would be awesome.
I don't know if that would be different, right?
Yeah.
We'll see.
That would be awesome. Yes.
That's just a guess. That's not a report. That's just a
random
guess. Random is what it was.
All right. Like you're ordering from the menu.
Yes.
I'll have the BK double.
If I could pick a wrestler, that's who I would want. Let's put it
if you could build a wrestler from the ground up.
It'd be Liv Morgan.
There you go. All right, let's go into Dynamite and then we'll go into Revolution. Guys, get your questions ready. you had the Death Riders defeating the Don Callis family with Takeshita and Hechicero. The Callis family attacked the Death Riders after the match, with Takeshita refusing to attack Moxley. Now, what does this mean? Are we getting full-blown babyface Takeshita on Sunday?
I think we are. I think
he's winning. I think he's winning. And then, yeah.
The way AEW does stuff, they might draw this out a little more. Pay it off at Double or Nothing, where he continues this. Hey, I want to do it my way, and I don't want to cheat, and refuses to help, and everybody wants to give him. They've done this before, and they end up taking more time with it, and the payoff ends up being bigger. So maybe they won't fully turn him babyface on Sunday, but it sure sounds like that's where they're headed.
I want to see full-blown Takeshita babyface against heel Okada this year at some point.
I think you're getting it. I think that could very well be the all-in match.
That would be amazing. The TNT Championship, Kyle Fletcher with Don Callis, Mark Davis, and Kazuchika Okada defeated Speedball Mike Bailey to retain the title. That was a good match. Good showcase for Speedball. I was texting our group chat and nobody got back to me. If this was a different era, Speedball would be their 1-2-3 kid.
I was going to text you back, and I think someone else texted something, and it threw me off. But
there's a lot of focus pulling in that. There's a lot of focus pulling in that group chat that we have.
The difference, yeah, it goes everywhere. The difference is, Sean Waltman at that time was really young and kind of unknown, where Speedball's been around for a while. That's the only difference. That's why I didn't immediately text back. I was like, they're in different shapes of their career. Same body type. But
that's what I'm saying. I feel like he should be.
Yeah.
He should be booked. Like, in my opinion, I would love it if he was booked like the 1-2-3 kid and he just wrestled the monsters. Like, and they were
does that.
Bobby Lashley, Big Cass. Right. Like I want to see more of a David and Goliath kind of thing. Brody King defeated Enhancement Talent super quick. Swerve tried to choke out Brody with the chain, but he ripped that apart. That's going to be a great match this weekend.
I thought I kind of chuckled at whenever they do things like that. I think it's funny. I was like, yeah, that chain's not real.
Yeah. The Dogs defeated Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin. They called out Roddy from the back and turned on the Dogs to make the save. Great.
So real quick on this, this Roddy didn't want to be part of the conglomeration, but now he kind of is, and he went off TV for a month and he comes back. It's like, hey, he doesn't want anything to do with them. There needs to be some filler here from the Roddy side of where he's at and what he's doing. Because I think Roddy. For me personally, I feel like Roddy works best as part of a cohesive faction, and I do feel bad for the guy in terms of I've always liked Roddy Strong, but his booking has been so up and down because of factors that are not in his control, a lot of those have to do with Adam Cole, actually.
Well, Adam Cole and I'm blanking on the other guy's name now.
Me too.
Yeah. Red Dragon.
Kyle O'Reilly.
Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle O'Reilly getting banged up, Adam Cole getting banged up, Bobby Fish leaving, at one point. I feel like, you had those guys together at one point, and that's a cohesive unit. And then Roddy's been healthy and being bounced around between all these different factions, I think if he had if he himself almost did an MJF stable of the Pinnacle, I would love that.
Okay, I can see that. I don't know where they're going. Obviously, it just feels like I need someone to fill in another line in the story that's missing, that they skipped ahead a little bit, is all.
We also had Willow Nightingale defeating Persephone to retain her TBS championship. Babes of Wrath called out Lena Cross and Megan Bayne for Revolution. That's going to be fun. Oh man, Tommaso Ciampa and
so real quick on that.
Yeah.
Actually, go ahead. Because I was saying,
You gotta stop doing that. You gotta stop interrupting and then saying, "Go ahead." Tommaso Ciampa and FTR defeated Mark Briscoe, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson, Dem Bucks. This match did it for me. Great effing 3-on-3. How did you feel about it?
This was good. I gotta tell you, I'm in love with this Tommaso Ciampa character.
Yeah. We talked about this the other day.
Everything about him, the attitude, the music, it fits him.
Yeah.
And him he's better as a heel, although he's a good babyface, he's so much better as a heel. And he's not opposed to doing heinous angles, right? In fact, it works better with him, and he did that here. Because that chair shot that Briscoe took, the air raid crash he did into the chairs was awesome.
Dude, they work so well together. We were talking about this the other day, I think, on Beyond the Bell. Like, which guys who come to AEW got rid of their WWE stink? You know, like, again, we mentioned how Adam Copeland still has, like, he's still like an WWE guy in my eyes, you know,
right?
Like, if you want to go that route, Moxley washed it off, right? By the time Cody was around, he washed a lot of it off, right?
FTR washed it off.
Danielson washed it off. I will say Ciampa had not even an ounce of stink on him, you know, like he clearly had a vision of where he wanted to end up and how he wanted to wrestle. You know, it wasn't like, oh, maybe I'll go over here and try something. He definitely was like, no, I'm going to go there and I'm going to give it my all. Ciampa is one of those guys that I feel like he's had such a long career. This guy could work with a fucking broomstick and make it a 5-star match. You know, like, I feel like he's one of the best on that roster, you know? Yeah. How did you feel about the fakey fake press conference between MJF and Hangman?
Yeah, well, did you see any of my in our group chat? Did you see any of my
I did.
Comments? Because they were not happy. They were not happy comments. I didn't. I just thought it felt. It was obvious it was contrived, and the fact that you had actual reporters asking questions, and clearly they had to have been given a heads up on what they were supposed to ask to keep the storyline going. I was like, this is not a television thing you should have done. So the first half of it was great. And I goes, okay, if they end up in some sort of brawl, I'll be fine with it, which they did. And they ended up brawling. But that first part, I was like, it was uncomfortable. It was just weird.
They tried, you know, they tried something different, which was the defense of it, you know. It
didn't land.
I think the issue is, like, it can't all be perfect, you know, where there's something very interesting about the really hardcore AEW fan base that wants everything to be perfect. And when it's not, it becomes like this weird, like, they're making excuses for it. You know, it's fine. It's fine that it was kind of like a weird thing. You know, they tried something new. Great. That's what I want to see out of pro wrestling. I want to see people trying new things. We got Revolution this Sunday in Los Angeles. I am very excited to watch this. This is going to be my, I have a long weekend ahead of me, and this is going to be where I relax. You have 0 Hour, Ricochet defending his AEW national title in a 21-man blackjack battle royal. Do you see a surprise guy winning, or do you see Ricochet retaining against 20 other men?
I think it's on the 0 Hour, so that leads me to believe they won't change the title, but I would like it if they did. You know, do
you think it's going to be a surprise entrant that wins, or do you think Ricochet?
Yeah, number 21. They're gonna. Are they going to do? Are they going to do the blackjack battle? They're going to do the staggered entrance like they have in the past.
I have no idea how AEW does their battle royals.
They did it. They've done it. It's always been like a gambling team. That's why it's 21 man. So 21st man is always a surprise. Like they'll take, if I remember correctly, they'll do like 4 guys will come out at a time. And then a minute later, 4 more or something like that until we got all 20. And then the last guy will come out. And it's usually somebody that's a surprise. So maybe that's what you do there.
You have the TBS champion Willow Nightingale defending against Lena Cross. And I know this is your favorite, Boom and Doom, QT Marshall and Big Boom AJ versus the Infantry, Carly Bravo and Shawn Dean. Now, this is going to be match of the night. This is what gets the crowd going, like Big Boom AJ coming out with the Rizzler and his kid, Do you think Big Boom AJ's kid is a little tweaked at the Rizzler? Because the Rizzler's the star of the show at this point, man.
I don't know. It's maybe he turns on him. Maybe that's the big angle here. He joins the
Big Justice just picks up the Rizzler and throws him like Rey Mysterio Jr. Oh, love that. We have a stacked card. All right, so let's go through all the matches. Let's fantasy book the shit out of this. You ready?
Oh, here we go. Yep, let's do it.
So confident in your responses. Marina Shafir versus Tony.
I'm doing mothers.
I know you do. Marina Shafir versus Tony Storm. Everyone banned from ringside. I said the other day, Tony Storm doesn't need a win. She does not need a loss. Like, the losses don't matter to her. The wins, I think, don't matter to her at this point. That's my opinion. I'm going to go Marina Shafir on this.
Well, everybody's banned from ringside. So I'm going to say Tony Storm just because everyone's banned from ringside. Okay. It'll be like a schmoz finish of some kind.
Let's add our answers to the notes here. You add the answers to the notes. I can't type today.
No,
AEW Trios champs Kazuchika Okada, Kyle Fletcher, and Mark Davis defend against Kevin Knight, Mike Bailey, and Mystico. I think Okada and Kyle and Mark retain. It's going to be a fun match, but since there's no Hangman, why would they put the belts on Kevin Knight, Mike Bailey, and Mystico?
Okay. Sorry again. We're distracted. I'm worse than Andrew.
Are you playing video games while we're doing this? I got Mega Man on pause.
Well, that'd be more fun than. So I don't think that I think you keep the title on Okada, Fletcher, and Davis. In my opinion,
you don't keep it on them.
You do. I think I'll retain.
Okay. AEW Women's World Champion Thekla defends against Chris Statlander in a 2 out of 3 falls match. This has the potential to be a banger of a match. I think Thekla gets the first fall, Statlander gets the second fall, with Thekla eventually winning with heel tactics.
Yeah. So I was going to. This is a question I was going to ask later. Is this where we see the return of Mercedes, or is she going to be out for a while? Are we? Because I feel like she needs to come. I know you, Andrew, and I have talked about this before, and you have too. Yeah. I feel like the women's divisions needs that push that they didn't have. You know what I mean? Like, it needs another. It needs that person back. I don't know. It just feels like, and maybe her coming back and being like, and changing her ways and being a baby face, even though she's a really good heel. I don't know. Just a thought.
I think the women's roster on AEW is doing better than they have in quite some time. I think there needs to be a little more cohesion, but that's just wrestling booking in general. You can't please everybody. I wouldn't mind Mercedes showing up at the end, and even if she is hurt or whatever, just to set up the angle. She's not hurt. She just dropped another title. Okay. She dropped another title. 2 titles, I think, last weekend. Okay, there you go. So I wouldn't mind seeing that. Brody King versus Swerve. This is going to be a ridiculous match, I think. I think Brody goes over.
You think Brody goes over? See, I think
Brody
Swerve
goes
is
over.
going to win in the end.
Yeah.
Now, if Brody does go over, that's going to change the dynamic because now they're putting Brody King in the world title picture, which would be
I think
cool.
Brody goes over.
Okay, you know what? Cool. I changed my mind. I want Brody to go over.
Yeah, I think Brody goes over. I think this match is going to be extra hard hitting. You know, I was chatting about that with you and the group chat about like, when did that big guy who can work hard hitting style of wrestling disappear? Right? Like, I think it's still there depending on the situation, but I feel like this will deliver on like that kind of classic level, right? Like Brody and Swerve are both super talented guys. They don't mind getting into fisticuffs. They don't mind the physical stuff. I think it's going to be awesome. You know what I watched yesterday? And my wife came home and I had this shit blasting. Bruce Brody and Stan Hansen versus Terry and Dory Funk Jr. in AJPW. And let me tell you, what a fucking guys, go on YouTube and just watch a bunch of, I've been really into watching Bruce Brody shit this week, right? I stumbled onto this yesterday.
Early 90s Japan, is that where we're pretty much it?
This
late
is
80s, early 90s?
No, this is like early 80s. Okay. Maybe in like 82. I'm not sure. But Bruce Brody, Stan Hansen, Terry and Dory Funk Jr. What a fucking match. And both, all four of these guys just wailing on each other, you know, and the crowd is so behind them. Dory Funk Jr. was a stud in Japan. Let's actually look up when that match is. We go through the card here, and we're getting a lot of questions here also, which is also fantastic. But yeah, do yourselves a favor, guys. Watch that AJPW match. The caffeine's starting to hit me. Bandito versus Andrade El Idolo. Andrade, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Andrade here.
But I think he needs the win. Does Andrade have WWE stink on him?
No, I think because WWE just refused to use him right. So it doesn't even come to my mind. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad he is where he is. And yeah, I think so the question here is, if he beats Bandito, does that set up an ROH title down the road? Do they put the title on him?
Sure. You know what? I'd like that. I think this should be for the title. Yeah. And then he walks around with I know. Yeah. I feel like it should be. And then Andrade walks around with that belt, you know, and just doesn't defend it because he's an asshole. You know, like he's on WWE, it's on AEW TV, and he just does nothing about it because he's a dick. I wouldn't mind seeing something like that. 1983 was the Bruiser Brody Stan Hansen Funk's match.
Okay.
In Japan.
All right. It was the glory days.
Just so I romance like 80s and 90s Japanese wrestling like nobody's business. And it's like, it's the best, you know, especially when you have like the Americans wrestling in Japan and just pulling out all the stops, you know.
Stan Hansen matches back then were like something to behold.
He's such a surprising guy when you hear him talk outside of the ring, you know, where he's one of the most eloquent guys you'll ever hear talk, you know, and just very matter of fact. And yet you see this guy's in ring work and he's like a bull in a china shop, you know.
Do you remember my Stan Hansen story?
No, please refresh it.
I told this early on when I started joining up with you guys, probably on a watch along back in the day. But so I was a WWE fan. Like this would have been at that time, like 83, 84. And that's when everything was in syndication. Mm-hmm. My football team, the Lions, sucked. So there was a lot of blackouts. So they would counter program. They would put on whatever syndication shows they had. Okay. One of them was Georgia Championship Wrestling. I don't know if it was Georgia, if it was the NWA one. But they would put that on, and I was flipping channels. Well, back in the early 80s, you had to get up to change the channels. And it was all the audio. The audio was not mixed right. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, I'm in my living room by myself. My mother's in the kitchen, and I turn that on. And after so you have Gordon Soley going to do an interview, and it was one of those famous Stan Hansen ones where he comes off the side and he's clinging that cowbell, and there's tobacco coming out of his mouth. I got in so much trouble. My mom ran in the room. What the hell are you watching? What is this? And that was before kind of, WWE started to make it more mainstream and more acceptable. But she was pissed at me for even flipping the channel on. So yeah, needless to say, I had to turn off that for a while. It took time to get her.
And this was when you were in your mid-30s, right?
Yeah.
I was 35.
No, this was when I was,
my mom got so mad I was watching Stan Hansen.
When I was a youngin'. I was definitely a youngin'.
How old were you?
I'm 22. I've been 22.
When that happened, you were 22?
Oh, when I was 20? No, I
when you were watching Stan Hansen drool all over your TV. How old were you?
Yeah, probably 12 or 13.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, that's funny.
I got kind of a late start to wrestling comparable to you guys, because you guys started when you were a little younger.
It's because we never. Well, I didn't have cable growing up. So there was like a lot of tapes and a lot of I remember
like tape trading, right?
Either tape trading, or I remember very vividly being in the first grade at lunch period and being like, so what happened? And then a couple of my friends would tell me exactly what happened during the pay-per-view, and I'd be like, all right, cool. And I'd be satisfied with that, because then once Superstars came on Saturday, I'd be like, all right, I know what happened now going into it. And it was just it was like, since we were kids, but I always mention this, when it was NWA or WCW, I just did not care because it was too adult for me. I wanted the cartoons. I wanted Hogan and Savage and Jake the Snake. Everybody had colorful shit happening, and they were all Looney Tunes effing characters. The Mr. Perfect vignette of him catching his own football. Again, the other company did not do any nutty shit like that. What do we got here? We have Bandito versus Andrade. Let's get back to it. AEW Continental Champion Jon Moxley defends against Konosuke Takeshita in a no time limit match. Well, there is a time limit. These guys aren't going to wrestle for 2 hours and fuck up the whole show. I think Takeshita wins.
I think. God, this is a good question. Okay, I'm going to go with Takeshita. I was going to go Moxley, but I just don't. They need to change gears. They're changing gears with the Death Riders. So I don't know if this is because obviously Death Riders are pretty much baby faces now, right?
Yeah.
Certain, but they're also doing heel shit still. So,
right. I think, but it's also is it the war of the heel factions, like the Callis family versus the Death Riders, even though they're just
that's where we are.
Yeah.
And you're gonna choose which one you like better.
Right. You have the World Tag Team Championship match, FTR versus the Young Bucks. Like I said the other day, I think the Bucks take this win. They're very good at cooling themselves off and then heating back up. I feel like the Bucks taking this win would be great, and then you have the rematch, and then you have whoever else could challenge them.
This is going to be classic FTR Young Bucks. This is one of those must watch. This I think will be one of the best matches of the weekend.
I agree.
It usually is with these guys. One of the probably the best match I've ever seen live is still that one where we went to who was that? It was All Out.
With the Lucha Brothers versus the Young Bucks in the cage?
Oh.
What a match. Yeah. Unbelievable.
That was amazing. And just I would love to see them get back to that level where it's just holy crap, we just stole the weekend.
That entire show was top to bottom fantastic. But also we had the vibes going into it because that was, this is the first time we met a lot of people. It was great,
First time we all hung out live together, so there was that.
Roderick Strong, Orange Cassidy, and Darby Allin versus the Dogs, Dave Finlay, Gabe Kidd, and Clark Connors. I think it's going to be the Dogs. You know, like you just got your leader. You need the win, right?
Right.
AEW Women's Tag Team Championship. The Babes of Wrath defend against Megan Bayne and Lena Cross.
Ooh.
That's going to probably be one of the first matches of the night. I'm going to say the Babes of Wrath retain.
I think they might go the other way. Lena Cross and Megan Bayne.
Okay.
Because I got to do something. I don't know where I feel on the women's division, and I keep bringing up different things, but it just doesn't. It seems stale. So switching the title makes sense to me.
And your main event, AEW World Champion MJF defends against Hangman Adam Page in a Texas death match where, again, the stipulation, if Adam Page loses, he can never challenge for the world title ever again, which is silly, and they clearly did this on purpose to get everybody butthurt.
Including us.
It's either to avoid that stipulation. I feel like it's either going to be some kind of like double knockout with somebody possibly returning to do that double knockout, because let's say, I'm just going to throw a name out there, right? Let's say Jay White or Swerve or even Brody show up in that match and just like destroys both guys so they can't move. That stipulation wouldn't come to pass for Hangman, right?
Right. So this is, I feel like doing a smosh finish in the main event would just disappoint everybody.
Okay.
But I think it's just going to be bloody heinous shit from Hangman. And that's where, and he wins because he just takes it to a place that MJF isn't willing to go.
Now, could they do this scenario, which I'm going to fantasy book for you right now?
Here you go.
Almost a squash match where Hangman destroys MJF, right? Gets the title. And then he says, I'm just getting warmed up. Is there anybody else out there? Blah, 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 blah. Right? Has the match with somebody else. Yeah, has the match with whoever else it is. And then Hangman drops the title to that person. So then you avoid that stipulation.
But it just, to me, it's like, no, they just at that point just keep the title on Hangman
or double pin.
Someone in the chat said that, yeah. Bonkers.
Double pin, some kind of like wacky roll up situation.
It just I would be very upset if a Page lost clean and that was it.
Okay,
he's not in the title picture anymore.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I like where they're going. They've got a lot of guys that are moving into the title picture. We talked about Brody King, Andrade. Obviously, Kenny's coming back. Maybe Kenny shows up at the end of this. I know there's rumors he's still in Japan doing his Capcom stuff, but so there's a lot of challengers down the road.
But again, I always feel like our fantasy booking is so much more extravagant than what's actually going to happen. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
That's why I always try to temper my expectations.
Yeah.
But
you know what? I always go in with no expectations, but I know what I would like to see happen. That would really do it for me. But always low expectations when it comes to wrestling or anything really. Let's get these questions out of the way. I feel like we had a bunch of questions in the chat. There's a couple of good ones here.
I see.
We got one from Dave Scott. Just scroll up a little bit.
Oh, I see it now. Thank you.
Yeah, you got it. Great.
Yep.
Do you think Double or Nothing in Flushing
You're not on the screen.
I'm here. I'm back.
Oh, there you went.
Do you think
You're
Double
back.
or Nothing in Flushing is a trial balloon to potentially bring All In 27 to Citi Field in terms of the ability to sell out that bigger venue? That's a good question. So we've been to all the New York shows and I feel like they're all at capacity. I think if they can sell out Louis Armstrong, that's a good sign. I also feel like for some reason as opposed to the other shows that they've done in New York, I feel like this one is more of a destination event, because it is a pay-per-view, right? So you're getting Double or Nothing in New York, in the center of where all the mass transit is. You're literally 5 minutes away from LaGuardia Airport. You're right by the 7 train. You're right by the LIRR. So if you're flying into the city, or if you're staying in the city, or if you're driving in, it's one of the most accessible places that you could go, via a million modes of transportation. What I think this could be is the litmus test for possibly booking that new soccer stadium that we're getting. Now, that would be tremendous,
When's that going to open? Is it next year?
I think it was supposed to be slated for the end of this year, but I feel like it's going to be next year. Something always happens around here. Okay. They did build Citi Field really quick, though. So, who knows? But I think it will be a litmus test for a bigger show. Since AEW can't book the Garden, they can do the UBS. And, that's a great venue, but it's not terribly big. A soccer stadium, I think, would be huge. Like, how much could a soccer stadium hold? Like 80,000 people?
Usually those soccer stadiums in the US are right around 20,000 normally.
Okay.
15 to 20,000. So they're a little bit bigger than arenas. So modern arenas, at least.
Yeah. Okay. U.S. soccer stadiums vary between 18,000 and 30,000 capacity.
Right.
Yeah.
So here's my question about that, because one problem with running Citi Field is logistics in the summer. And we talked about this the other day. Andrew was on with us, or was talking about it. We didn't. You would have to do it over the All-Star break. They did this with Globe Life Field, but the Texas Rangers Stadium last year for All In, and they did it during the All-Star break. The problem is that's more of a modern stadium where they can move the entire field off and not harm the grass. Where if you do that in a stadium at Citi Field, and what happened here in Comerica Park several years ago with Metallica, where they ruined the outfield and they had to cancel games to get the outfield back. So they can't do that. So there's a logistic concern with running baseball stadiums during the season. So that's my only thing about running a place like that.
As much as I would love to see wrestling at Citi Field, it did happen. It happened with, I want to say it happened with Global Force.
Probably. And they did run it, but they
this was 2017. This is pre AEW, right? So I want to say, like, I think the main event, not the main event, I think the main thing was Goldberg showing up and spearing Gallows, or some nutty ending like that, or spearing Scott Steiner, or something. But that was, I think, the last wrestling show that ran at Citi Field.
And they only used the bleacher seating around the home plate and stuff, right?
Right.
So it's not even using the full stadium.
Yeah. We got a question here, if you could put it up, from BKK, from B4K3. I can't read today.
This one.
When do you all think Ospreay is coming back, and which one is likely for All In? Omega versus Ospreay or MJF versus Ospreay? I feel like you got it. If Ospreay's healthy, you need Kenny versus Ospreay, right? That's your headliner.
Trying to think of,
and I do think this year we're gonna see guys pad their stats a lot this year with that main championship belt. I think you're gonna get a little hot potato between.
You want that so bad, and I do. I think I've never been an entire fan of that, but it's where you
Hangman wins. Hangman wins, and then short title run, somebody else wins, and then by the time you get to All In, it's going to be Kenny versus somebody else. Because you have a lot of guys gunning for that belt now more than ever. And I think it's going to be, it's very interesting, because this, I feel like Tony Khan is sort of aping New Japan booking from a few years ago, where you had your top 6 or 7 guys always in that spotlight vying for that title, and when they weren't vying for that title, they were feuding with each other. Do you remember that? Like Okada, Tanahashi, Jay White, Naito, and you had like a couple other guys thrown in there, and they would headline Wrestle Kingdom every year, like those 6 or 7 guys.
Yeah.
Also, does a Jericho come back? Do we get worked by Jericho? Does he show up at the show? Do you get?
That's a good question.
Jay
White's the one that a lot of people are saying, and that's the winner of the Battle Royal. But that's on that's on 0 Hour. Do I want Jay White to make his return on 0 Hour?
Exactly. Or
they've done stuff like that before, and it's like, why wasn't that on the main show? They have done weird things like that,
right.
So it's not for them. It's not out of the pocket that they would pull that.
Right. Does Jay White come back? Does Jericho come back? Who makes an impact? Does Jack Perry come back and make an impact? I feel like that's one of the fun things about the AEW pay-per-views is you're always kind of, you're going to get a return. I feel like you always get a return.
Jack Perry's in that feud with Ricochet. So that actually makes sense for that Battle Royal. Now that I think about it, him winning that and winning the title in the Battle Royal, taking it from, they could do that. I would be all right with that.
He could get a sneaky win, as Bonkers in the chat room said. I think that's it for questions, unless you can find one.
No, that's all. We didn't get a lot.
Look at that. Look at that. A perfect hour almost that we did today. We should congratulate ourselves. Pat ourselves on the back.
Rich.
Oh, there we go. Here's one last question.
This is actually a good one.
Yes. Do you think TK will counter WWE? What's up?
I said we brought this one up before, so yeah.
Do you think TK will counter WWE next year since WrestleMania is happening in Saudi Arabia? I think on a certain level, sure. Now what does that mean? Does that mean a big show in the States? Does that mean like the biggest show they've ever done? I don't know. I don't know. I feel like
go ahead. Keep talking.
I think, thank you for letting me talk, Mr. Gonzo. What I think is this AEW is a vastly different company than the one that was started with the original All In show, right? Mm-hmm. That show proved that they can sell 10,000 tickets, right? And they've been on the up ever since. I think the decisions that are now made are vastly different because there's so much interest in the product. Do I want to see it happen? Yes. I want to see a massive, massive AEW wrestling show where you pull people from other companies also, kind of do like another version of All In or another version of Forbidden Door where we have like dream match after dream match of, guys from Japan, guys from Europe, guys from South America, CMLL, like everybody just working together. NWA, I think that's the way to do it. Make like the biggest card you can to counter WrestleMania, because a lot of WWE fans aren't going to make the travel to go there.
No.
And there are folks that I know people that go to WrestleMania every year, like no matter where it is, they'll book their tickets, they'll do 2 days, they'll do the whole thing. They'll enjoy the indie stuff during that weekend, but they're not going to Saudi Arabia. I think Tony can capitalize on that and do something insane.
That's my big pull from that question is what happens to the indie stuff that happens. That's where Tony could benefit by doing a show, not even that weekend, but a weekend before or after or close to it, and saying, hey, this is, maybe you move Forbidden Door to there and you make it a destination thing. And then the indies, instead of doing Mania weekend, they do that weekend instead, because that's where the money is for those guys. So
if they coordinate it,
how many promotions are going to go to Saudi Arabia and run shows over there? It's not right. Some of the European maybe, but there's not any really big ones. So that's my big thing is he's got to take advantage of not having that and making it a destination thing for people to go to that weekend.
What you could do easily and again, this is fantasy booking. What I would love, like everything we talked about, make it like a superstar weekend, right? You populate the weekend with events, and I would love to see for one weekend only the return of PWG. Right?
If you did it in LA, if this was in
do it in LA, like forget it. Like I think that would be awesome. And LA and California has come around to being a really good wrestling town. You know,
Oh, yeah.
I think it would be a cool move to see Tony Khan do that and organize like one of the biggest things that indie and pro wrestling has seen in a long time. You know, he has the ability to do it. You know, just pull the trigger.
Mhm.
Thank you for that question,
Sure.
Sergio.
Yeah. And you answered the next point. So are we done? Is that it? Did we just
Yeah, we're
finish?
done. I was waiting for
1
you
hour?
to add.
We're
We're at a perfect hour right
No.
now.
1 hour.
Guys,
all right.
guys,
well,
thank you so much. That we appreciate you tuning in. Andrew and I will be back on Tuesday, I think, for Beyond the Bell. Hopefully, you know, hopefully he comes down from his tin can high above the world. And you know, as always, we love you. Thank you, Mr. Gonzo, for doing the show with me, and I appreciate every single one of you.